Okay, I'm going to start sharing my screen. Please let me know. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Well, welcome. Thank you very much for connecting to this class. Today we are going to be talking about urban legends. Do you know what urban legends is or are? Or no idea?
Something like a modern myth.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like those very traditional legends or mythology that sometimes we see on Greek mythology, Nordic mythology. Uh, those are pretty much made up stories that no one actually confirm if they are true or false. So we're going to be listening about that. We're going to watch a video where they are going to talk about very interesting urban legends around the world, and then we will discussing about it. Also, we will be um, listening audios and we'll be focusing on the intonation of the speakers, like what the intonation said about how the speaker is feeling. So let's start. Um, Paola, can you please help me reading the goal of the class?
Yes, goal by the end of the lesson, students will understand and discuss urban legends, identify whether a story is real or not, and recognize the speaker's tone and the attitude. Examples serious, sarcastic, or humorous while listening.
Very good. So yeah, as I was saying before, we are going to be identifying if the story is real or not by the intonation and the speaker's tone and attitude. And by that, we will also be kind of like identifying if the speaker is serious, if he or she is sarcastic, mad, nervous while they are speaking. So let's just start with a warm-up activity. We're going to watch a video about urban legends, and then we will be answering some questions. So let's see, is it here? Here. Mhm.
Throughout time, people across the world told each other tales of how they came to be, of heroes and monsters, romance and tragedy, death and rebirth. Mythology helped shape the ancient world, explaining the unexplainable. This is Mythology Unleashed. Storytelling has always been integral to human culture. From the days of oral stories told around the campfires, to works of fiction, both written and performed. Every story told has a purpose behind it, whether it be for entertainment, information, or to teach a valuable lesson. But then there are some stories that arise in localized areas, and often much more recent than oral tales of olden times, growing bigger and bigger, tales that can come across as absurd, scary, or sometimes even humorous. They sound like they could never be believed, and yet many do believe them to be true. Enter the urban legend. There are countless examples of urban legends all across the world. Cryptids and mysterious creatures, paranormal occurrences, encoded messages, hidden cities, tall tales, bizarre coincidences, and debunked beliefs that seem to persist. With a wide variety of legends, many that bear resemblance to others and many that stand out on their own, one must ask, what defines an urban legend? The Oxford Dictionary defines an urban legend as an entertaining story or piece of information circulated as though true. In this respect, they're not too dissimilar to stories of mythology. In fact, the term myth is often applied to an urban legend. But ancient myths were created as a means to explain concepts that were difficult or impossible for primitive humanity to grasp, and developed during a time when they were not easily disproved. Urban legends, on the other hand, rarely, if ever, went as grand as to discuss gods, cosmic bodies, or stories of creation. Instead, urban legends are often much smaller in scope, yet have an air of tangibility or even plausibility, taking place in very real locations or amidst real-life events, and often concerning very real culture and very real people, albeit with distorted or exaggerated details. While ancient myths had the luxury to develop and evolve over centuries of oral tradition, urban legends germinate rather quickly in comparison, and are spread through various means. They can be created from an elaborate joke, a hoax, a rumor that's gone too far, unsolved mysteries and crimes, popular misconceptions or beliefs. Urban legends typically include common elements. The tale is retold on behalf of an original witness or participant. Dire warnings are often given to those who may not heed advice or a lesson contained therein. And the story is often claimed to be something a friend told me. Such legends seem to be believable and even provocative, as some listeners are led in turn to pass them on. And with the advancement of social media platforms, these urban legends can reach millions worldwide in the blink of an eye. Urban legends can be completely plausible stories, such as the killer in the back seat legend, or suspenseful ones containing supernatural or paranormal elements like ghosts or monstrous beasts that make them less likely to be believed. Regardless of how plausible the story may be, the validity of an urban legend is always questionable, but perhaps also difficult, though not impossible, to disprove. Urban legends come in a wide variety of forms. Some are tales that parents tell their children to spook them into good behavior, such as if they were to swallow a watermelon seed, a watermelon would grow in their stomach. Some urban legends have been perpetuated as real fact for decades, and are deeply ingrained in modern culture despite being debunked. Such is the case of the Great Wall of China being visible to the naked eye from low orbit. Some legends stem from a misconception that gained popularity. For example, in 1995, word spread that if one were to play Pink Floyd's album The Dark Side of the Moon at the same time as the 1939 movie The Wizard of Oz, the result would produce moments of apparent synchronicity, where the album and movie would correspond to one another. The members of Pink Floyd were quick to dismiss the notion. Some of the most popular urban legends concern the supernatural and paranormal occurrences. Examples include alleged curses, such as the infamous tales of disappearances and technical failures in the Bermuda Triangle, or the ever-popular idea of Friday the 13th being a day of never-ending misfortune. Stories of cities and civilizations hidden from the outside world, such as El Dorado in South America, or Shangri-La in the Kunlun Mountains of Tibet. Tales of ghosts and apparitions of the deceased seem never-ending, from the Japanese snow spirit Yuki-onna, vanishing hitchhiker found practically worldwide, to the famous Bloody Mary, whose ghostly form is summoned by repeating her name several times in a mirror. Another popular type of urban legend concerns cryptids, animals hidden away from modern science. They may be unique animals or freaks of nature, such as the Beast of Exmoor in England, the Loch Ness Monster, or the Yeti of the Himalayas. Or they may be terrifying monstrosities, such as the Bunyip of Australia, the Manananggal of the Philippines, and the Jersey Devil and Mothman of America. These legends are told primarily for entertainment purposes, but that has not stopped countless people from believing in enigmatic places, curses, ghosts, monsters, and unsolved mysteries. As some of the most relevant and resilient forms of modern-day storytelling, urban legends act as reflections of our society's perceptions, both interests and concerns. It makes one wonder why so many people believe things without any real evidence of them being true. The reality is that human beings love to believe unlikely, strange, and amazing things, whether or not they seem plausible. Additionally, we all enjoy sharing outlandish stories, and we all enjoy hearing outlandish stories. And with ever-advancing methods of communication and socialization, these stories have gained more and more convenient ways to be shared. As a whole, urban legends reflect our culture's habits and innermost ideas, and are driven by our everyday practices and curiosities. Just remember to meet every story you hear with an open mind, and to always take it with a grain of salt.
Okay, we heard a lot of examples about rare urban legends. Do you know any urban legend or scary stories based on like the place that you live or stories that you used to listen when you were a kid?
Yes, I remember to hear about to listen to that story of Llorona. Is the woman
Mhm.
who lost her children. Well, I don't remember how. I guess probably they drone or yeah, they
Mhm.
shall drone.
Mhm.
And well, people say you can see that woman who dressed in white, and she's always like near to the lakes or yeah, close to the lakes, and she has like a terrifying face, and she's always crying, always saying like my kids. That's what she always says. And, well, that's the story I know.
Mhm. Yeah, I think that's one of the most famous one in Colombia. Okay, and what about the second one? Do you enjoy scary stories, funny stories, or neither?
Uh, mm, I used to enjoy more scary stories, but
Mm.
now I guess I prefer funny stories.
Mhm.
I don't know because probably it's because I'm Christian, and for some reason I feel if I you absorb more of that scary stories, I don't know, you could open a door for something like that happen to you, right? Like um like for example when yeah you watch a scary movie that could be something that it could happen to you because you are allowing that in your life.
Mhm.
So yeah, right now I prefer funny stories.
Okay. Yeah, me too. I like to listen to stories. I like to talk with like old people because they have so many stories. I don't like scary stories or scary movies or scary books or anything. I am a Christian too, and I feel that I don't know if because I'm a Christian or what is it, but I get so scared, guys. It's like something kind of stupid because even though for aliens movies or something, I get scared and I'm like, what the heck, Sophia? Anyways, um, Natalia, why do you think that people like telling these kind of stories, like these scary stories?
I think for most people who are like fans of horror and such, it is like a way of stress relief in a way, like you put yourself in a scary situation, but that you are safe. Like roller coaster, It's the thrill
Mm-hmm.
without actually being in danger.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but also urban legends in particular. It's just like I don't know uh I don't know. I associated them a lot with like when you're in school and everyone is like so susceptible to
Mm-hmm.
believe in anything, and it's funny to tease your classmates, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like in my school, for example, there were plenty of stories like that, and especially because my school was at the outskirts of Bogota, and it was surrounded by a
Mm-hmm.
mountain. So there were so
Mm-hmm.
many scary stories about any sorts of things that lived in the mountain.
Yeah. I feel that I don't know. It depends on the person, but I feel that some people, or back in the day, nowadays not really, but back in the day, people used to tell these stories to kind of like manipulate. I don't know, kids, for example. Oh, if you don't eat your lunch, then El Coco is going to come and like scare you at night, right? And like, I don't know, I used to get traumatized. My mom used to mention so much El Coco. I'm like, oh my gosh, so scared of Coco. But anyways, thank you guys for answering the questions. Now we're going to review the vocabulary. I know that this is like a kind of like familiar um vocabulary, but before we continue and review it, is there any word or any phrase that is new for you or you understand everything?
I can understand all the vocabulary.
You
Yeah,
understand
me
the
too.
vocabulary?
Yeah, I
Okay.
understand.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so just wanted to put it here in case like I don't know, you guys will not know it. Okay, so listening strategy. Natalia, can you please help me reading the listening strategy?
Speakers often use intonation to express their opinion or attitude about the statements they make. Pay attention to the speaker's tone of voice and the intonation they use to find out how they feel about their subject.
Very good. So we're going to be listening to some audios, and we are going to be focusing on the intonation and the way that they say certain words to kind of like identify how that person is feeling. It can be surprised, it can be enthusiastic, it can be angry, it can be happy, sad. So let's try to focus on the intonation of some words and also the tone that that person is talking. The ideas are going to be pretty easy, honestly. Um, but I don't know, sometimes it can be tricky because that person is not, the tone is kind of like plain and doesn't show or excitement or sadness or whatever. So it can be tricky. So we are going to listen one by one or two, and then we are going to be answering the questions. So I think these audios, yeah, will be a piece of cake for you guys. So let's just start with the first one.
1. Is that letter for me? 2.
No, that's not right. Let me show you.
I'll play it twice and then we'll review the answers.
1. Is that letter for me? 2.
No, that's not right. Let me show you.
Okay. So the first speaker, the lady, does she sound nervous or does she sound surprised?
She surprised, in my opinion.
Okay. Do you agree, Natalia?
I thought she sounds nervous.
You think she sounds nervous? Can you explain why?
Like, I don't know, like she paused a lot and was like hesitant.
Okay. Well, actually, the correct answer is surprise. I think that maybe the definition that we have of surprise is like, is that letter for me? Right? But I think that here I will put surprise or curious. She sounds more like curious about like, oh, is that letter for me? Right?
1. Is that letter for me?
So letter B is the correct option. What about 2? No, that's not right. Let me show you. Does he sound angry or does he sound patient?
He
2.
sounds patient.
No, that's not right.
Okay, he sounds patient. Do you agree, Natalia?
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't sound angry at all. He doesn't sound like stressed. He just like letting the other person like, oh yeah, let me show you. That's very easy. What about this third one? Okay, what's the name?
That's not right. Let me show you.
3. This is my seat? 4.
That makes me feel much better.
3. This is my seat? 4.
That makes me feel much better.
What do you guys think? Number 3.
The number 3 sounds like she's uncertain. It sounds like she's asking.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep, that's true. Is this my seat? I feel the way that she like focused the intonation in my, it kind of like opens like an option that it can be her seat or it cannot be. What about the number
Right.
4s?
The number 4, he sounds sarcastic.
Okay, can you explain why?
Yeah, I feel he has something in his intonation, like he says something like, "Oh, that makes me feel much better." Something like that is, yeah, it's something in his intonation that I can assume he's sarcastic and not enthusiastic.
Okay. What do you think,
And
Natalia?
yeah, he could sound a little bit upset too.
Yeah, I
Okay.
also think he sounded a little bit like upset or like angry. So it could be sarcastic.
You think it's sarcastic too? Okay. See.
4.
That makes me feel much better.
Okay. So actually the answer is enthusiastic. Um because
Oh, oh,
Yeah, I know. It can be tricky, but I think it might be because of the accent. I don't know. But I feel that sarcastic in a way can be more like making fun of something, and his intonation is not like, oh yeah, 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 that makes me feel much better. Yeah. Like I don't know how to explain. Of course it depends on the context, but I was reading the explanation and it says that like is it seems like to think about it like this guy makes like a I don't know. Let's pretend that he make a recipe with nuts, and then the one person he thought that he was allergic and he ate it, and then he was very worried that that person ate like that cake with nuts. And then someone told him like, "Oh no no no, he's not allergic to nuts." So he's like, "Oh well, that's good. Him that makes me feel much better." Like he doesn't sound like sarcastic, but I don't think he sounds enthusiastic to be honest. He's just like, "Oh okay, that's cool." Like that thing makes him feel more better. But between sarcastic and enthusiastic, the correct option is enthusiastic.
Okay, teacher.
Oh,
However, many people use sarcastic like in a bad way. Yeah, sometimes it could be fun. People use it like in funny moments, but others use it like for being a little bit disrespectful or when they are upset.
Yes, exactly. So I think in this type of cases, we just need to pay attention to the context. And unfortunately, in these audios, we don't have a context. But yeah, definitely sarcastic can sound like that too. I agree. I wish we
Good
could
teacher.
have more context. Yeah, yeah, but we don't really. Okay, now the fifth one, I think it was. Mm,
5. That didn't hurt at all. 6. The film's quite good. 7.
Much better.
5. That didn't hurt at all. 6. The film's quite good.
what do you think about five?
the 5 is surprised.
Mm-hmm. Can you explain why?
She sounded like, I don't know, like a little kid who has
Mm-hmm.
to have their blood drawn or something, and they expect something to hurt a lot, and it didn't, so it sounded exactly like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I made that image or that situation in my head too when I heard this. What do you think, Paula?
Um, yeah, she sounds more surprised than sarcastic.
Mm-hmm. Well, in this case, she is surprised. Like she thought that something was going to hurt really bad, but she was like, "Oh, that didn't hurt at all." Um, so yeah, of course we need more context, but the correct answer is surprise. And what about the film's quite good?
It
6.
sounded unsure.
Unsure? Okay. And what do you think? Well, let's listen it and then confirm.
The film's quite good.
Quite good. What do you think, Paula?
Yeah, she sounds unsure. It looks like she's hesitating.
Mm-hmm. That pause that she does when she's like, the film's quite good. Like that pause definitely make us know that she's not quite sure if the film was good or not. So yeah, that's the correct answer. And what is it? The last two.
Film's Quite good. 7.
He's never on time.
8.
This party's brilliant.
Quite good. 7.
He's never on time.
8.
This party's brilliant.
There you go. What do you guys think on the 7?
The 7, I wouldn't quite call it angry, more like exasperated, but between angry and patient, angry.
Yeah, I agree. Do you agree,
Yeah.
Paula?
Yes, I feel the same. I feel he sounds like annoying
Mm-hmm.
with the.
Yeah, I think these options are not describing them that well, but we get the main idea, right? That's the most important thing. I agree. He doesn't sound angry, but he's like annoyed that that person is never on time. And what about letter number 8?
I think it's enthusiastic.
Enthusiastic. Okay. What do you think, Paula? Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree. She sounds enthusiastic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was pretty easy. I think these last two were kind of easy. You can tell that the guy was annoyed and this girl was enthusiastic or happy about the party. Okay, and now we're going to listen to a conversation. We are going to listen just the audio to like kind of like have an idea of what like the story is going to be about, and then we're going to listen it again, but answering each question. Okay.
Right, you lot. I have a horror story of my own for you. It won't be as good as Ian's, of course.
Of course it won't, Max. But anyway, let's hear it.
Fantastic. Is it as scary as the first one?
Hope not.
Don't worry, Caro.
Are you going to listen or what?
We're all ears.
I hope it isn't true.
Shush, Caro. Well, this story takes place on a cold, stormy night deep in the Irish countryside. John, a student, was by the side of the road, hitchhiking. The storm was so strong that he could hardly see anything at all. He was desperate. Suddenly, he saw a car coming towards him very slowly.
Oh, it's a bit like my story.
Oh dear, I don't like this story either.
Shush, Caro. It's nothing like your story, Ian. Can I continue?
Please do. I'm listening, at least.
Anyway, John was desperate for shelter. So, without thinking about it, he jumped into the car, only to realise that there was nobody behind the wheel. Then, the car started moving slowly off. The rain was lashing down and the storm was howling. John tried the door handle, but it wouldn't open. He began to panic.
Good grief.
The car started to pick up a little speed. Frightened, John peered out of the window and could just make out a bend in the road. He was terrified and thought he was going to die.
Oh no!
Shh! Then, just before the car hit the trees on the curve, a ghostly hand appeared through the window and turned the wheel. John was frozen with fear.
Is it a ghost story?
The car was gathering speed now down the hill through the furious storm. John clung on in terror. Finally, he could make out a light in the distance. People! Gathering all his strength, he pushed the car door open, fell out into the night, and ran for his life towards the lights of the pub on the roadside.
Phew, thank goodness for that.
Shh! Soaking wet and exhausted, John staggered into the pub, dazed and shaking, and started telling the few people there about the terrible experience he'd just had.
I bet.
Suddenly, the pub doors burst open again.
Oh no.
2 men came into the room. Like John, they were wet to the skin and out of breath. They looked around the room and spotted John crying in the corner. One man said to the other,
What?
He said, "Look, there's that idiot that got into the car while we were pushing it."
Brilliant, Max. That's hilarious. You had us on the edge of our seats thinking something horrible was going to happen.
Yes, very clever.
Now I do like that story. What a relief.
Always happy to entertain. Well, there are plenty of funny urban legends, as well as the horror ones.
True. And it was better than my story.
Nah, mate. Anyway, Caro, you make a good listener. You believe anything anybody tells you.
That's not fair. Oh, well, actually, you may have a point there, Max. I can't help it if I'm naturally trusting, can I?
It just means you're a very nice person, Caro. Much nicer than Max.
Hey! But Jill's right. You are nicer than me, Caro. Come on, you lot. I'll buy you all a coffee.
Well, that's unexpectedly nice of you, Max. Let's go, guys, before he changes his mind.
A very interesting story. Now we are going to read the questions and listen again the audio. So the first one is, how does Max feel when he starts telling his story? What is the story about? What do the people listening think of the story? What does Carol think of Max's comment about her? What does Max agree with Jill about? Okay, so based on those questions, try to keep in mind those questions while listening to the audio again. And then we will review the answers. If you can write the answers on the chat and then we will review it.
Right, you lot. I have a horror story of my own for you. It won't be as good as Ian's, of course.
Of course it won't, Max. But anyway, let's hear it.
Fantastic. Is it as scary as the first one?
Hope not.
Don't worry, Caro.
Are you going to listen or what?
We're all ears.
I hope it isn't true.
Shush, Caro. Well, this story takes place on a cold, stormy night deep in the Irish countryside. John, a student, was by the side of the road, hitchhiking. The storm was so strong that he could hardly see anything at all. He was desperate. Suddenly, he saw a car coming towards him very slowly.
Oh, it's a bit like my story.
Oh dear, I don't like this story either.
Shush, Caro. It's nothing like your story, Ian. Can I continue?
Please do. I'm listening, at least.
Anyway, John was desperate for shelter. So, without thinking about it, he jumped into the car, only to realise that there was nobody behind the wheel. Then, the car started moving slowly off. The rain was lashing down and the storm was howling. John tried the door handle, but it wouldn't open. He began to panic.
Good grief.
The car started to pick up a little speed. Frightened, John peered out of the window and could just make out a bend in the road. He was terrified and thought he was going to die.
Oh no!
Shh! Then, just before the car hit the trees on the curve, a ghostly hand appeared through the window and turned the wheel. John was frozen with fear.
Is it a ghost story?
The car was gathering speed now down the hill through the furious storm. John clung on in terror. Finally, he could make out a light in the distance. People! Gathering all his strength, he pushed the car door open, fell out into the night, and ran for his life towards the lights of the pub on the roadside.
Phew, thank goodness for that.
Shh! Soaking wet and exhausted, John staggered into the pub, dazed and shaking, and started telling the few people there about the terrible experience he'd just had.
I bet.
Suddenly, the pub doors burst open again.
Oh no.
2 men came into the room. Like John, They were wet to the skin and out of breath. They looked around the room and spotted John crying in the corner. One man said to the other,
What?
He said, "Look, there's that idiot that got into the car while we were pushing it."
Brilliant, Max. That's hilarious. You had us on the edge of our seats thinking something horrible was going to happen.
Yes, very clever.
Now I do like that story. What a relief.
Always happy to entertain. Well, there are plenty of funny urban legends, as well as the horror ones.
True. And it was better than my story.
Nah, mate. Anyway, Caro, you make a good listener. You believe anything anybody tells you.
That's not fair. Oh, well, actually, you may have a point there, Max. I can't help it if I'm naturally trusting, can I?
It just means you're a very nice person, Caro. Much nicer than Max.
Hey! But Jill's right. You are nicer than me, Caro. Come on, you lot. I'll buy you all a coffee.
Well, that's unexpectedly nice of you, Max. Let's go, guys, before he changes his mind.
Okay, so how does Max feel when he starts telling the story?
Be impatient with interruptions.
Why?
Like the other guy says, "Oh, mine is better," and the other guy says, "Oh, is it scary?" And he's like, "Shut up and let me tell the story."
Yeah, I think Max was very funny. The way that he talks and everything, he was like very impatient to tell his story. So yeah, that's correct. Letter B. What is the story about?
I'm not sure. Like, it's not exactly a ghost story, but it's maybe the one that fits better.
I feel that question is tricky. To me, it could be a student who is lost.
Yeah, as well as it is a very tricky question. Because it can be three options, pretty much. First, a ghost, because that's what the student thought when he get into the car. Then the student was lost, right?
But they never
But
mentioned that the student was lost.
I mean, not technically lost, but he couldn't see because of the bad weather. So you kind of
Exactly.
yeah, you kind of like identified or like kind of like think that he might be lost and he just like get into the car. But the real answer is the inhabitants of a village in Ireland. So it's pretty much like looking at the whole picture that yes, like it can sound like a very spooky story, but at the end of the day, they were like habitants that were trying to get their car or push their car, and then like the story became like kind of spooky, but the main idea or like the kind of like the main point of the idea of this story was about the inhabitants of a village in Ireland. But I would say it's more like a student that was confused, pretty much, for me. I think that fits better.
What do you mean with this spooky? What does it mean? It's like it's scary, or what's the difference?
Yeah. A spooky is a scary. Yeah.
But spooky funny or spooky kind of scary but funny, like this story, or just scary?
It depends on the context. Like you can, if you're in a serious like conversation, you can say, yeah, that's very spooky. Like that's very scary. But you can also use it like, ooh, it's a spooky, like like kind of scary but funny. So it depends on the context or the type of conversation that you're having. But it can be used for both. Usually kids use it more for like funny, scary, for like Halloween. Ooh, spooky costume. But it can be used or the
Okay.
meaning is like scare.
Okay, teacher, thank you.
Of course. And what do the people listening think of the story at the beginning of the story?
Could you tell me what does gripping mean?
Yeah, gripping is exciting. It's like como suspenso, como que what is going to happen? Like what is coming? Like wait, what is this, like a spooky story or what is it? You know, like very interested and excited to hear the story.
I think it's
Mm,
that one, gripping.
Yeah,
mm.
it's that one. I think it's very obvious. Like everyone was trying to like understand what was happening to this man or kid. So yeah, the correct answer is gripping. What about the fourth one? What does Carol think of Mac's comment about her?
I guess that could be B. She admits that Matt's comments could be right.
Mhm. Can you explain why?
Because they all were saying that she was nice, better than Matt's.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, oh yeah, but that's because I trust in people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I guess that's what she
Yeah,
said.
that's what she said. Yeah. I trust too much in people. Yeah. Yeah, that's correct. That's the correct option. And what about number five? What does Max agree with Jill about? That you pretty much kinda is
B.
connected to the fourth one. Yep.
Yeah, the same B.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I didn't hear you, Natalia, but if you say B, yeah, that's correct. The Caro is more good natured than he is. Yeah. And he admitted at the end of the audio. So yep, that was pretty much it. Do you have any questions before we wrap up the lesson? Was everything clear? What do you guys think about the audio? The
I would like
tone?
to know where do you find these audios because I would
Mm-hmm.
like to practice more my listening.
Okay. I will ask the director to see if we can share this information, and then I will definitely text you with like the source of these audios because we have to like kind of log in to a website and download them. But yeah,
Okay,
we'll
okay.
definitely let you know. Mm-hmm.
Thank you, teacher.
But if you want to practice, there is this channel on YouTube that has like this the same accent, British accent, and they have very interesting topics. Like they're short videos, and they even give you like kind of like activities on each video. So it's it's very cool. I think it's very helpful. Like talking about social media, it's like more topics about real life, and it can help you in like real life situations. So I definitely suggest you this channel, Beauty Learning English.
Okay, teacher, thank you. But that's more like British accents, or there is also American accent.
And this BBC is just British.
Okay.
Yeah, just British. But I feel that in most, if you start looking on YouTube about similar channels like that, you will find a lot of American. So I think that would be easy to find out.
Okay, teacher, thank you.
Mm-hmm. And well, we kind of answered these questions in the wrap up activity. But before we end the class, do you have any questions about the topic? Any comment? Any suggestion?
No, no, I don't have questions about the topic.
Okay, perfect. I just sent the attendance link and then satisfaction survey. If you guys can fill those two, I will be very thankful. And yeah, this was the last week of the session of this semester, sorry. So I guess that I will see you guys next semester. I hope you survive the next couple of weeks with assignments and homework and like meetings and classes. And yeah, I wish you the best and I hope to see you next semester, guys.
Thank you. I hope to see you too, and I hope you survive too.
Oh, thank you, Natalia. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
I
much,
hope
teacher.
so. Thank you, Paula. Thanks for joining. I'll see you in another opportunity. Have a good day.
The
You too.
same. Bye
Bye bye.
bye.
Bye bye.